Hey, how you doing? This is Tony from 6 String Corner, and today I'm going to give you another edition of my Kemper faves. Some of my favorite patches that I love using on the Kemper Profiler. It has been a life changer for me as far as how I play, what I sound like, how I approach the guitar. The sheer number of rigs you have available to you, whether they are free or whether you purchase them, is really astronomical. It's really fantastic. So I wanted to give you a rundown on another one of my favorite amps that I like to use. Now, I have to confess, it's not one that I use all the time, but I do play in a Rush tribute band, Animation Tribute to Rush, out in the Chicago area. If you are in Chicago area, you can come out and see us sometime. We got a lot of gigs coming up, by the way. Enough of the commercial. The one I want to talk about today is the VHT Special 6. I never heard of it before I got the Kemper. Actually, what ended up happening is I was researching a lot of the amplifiers that Alex Lifeson used throughout his career in Rush, from the very first album to the recent Clockwork Angels. And he went through several. One that he'd used a lot, starting in Farewell to Kings, he used the High Watt D105, I believe it's called, up until Moving Pictures. D103 is the common one. That's the David Gilmour amp. A lot of 70s artists use that D103 quite a bit. It was pretty popular back in the day. And what Alex had done was kind of modded it up. I had heard it called D105. I really don't even know if that's the name of it. Regardless, the high watt sound that he got in that era was definitely modded up. The amp was modded up. And I, to be honest with you, have not been able to find anything in the Kemper Rig Manager, in the Kemper Cloud, stuff to purchase that has really come close to emulating those sounds. Until I came across an article from an individual, and I wish I could remember the article. I can't even find it. I would tell you if I knew. In this article, he was talking about the song Red Barchetta and the amps and the guitars, and you find a lot of articles out there. Well, people will talk about what these guys have used on certain albums, on certain songs. What he was talking about on Red Barchetta was this amp. And he did say, this individual said, and if you can't find this amp, shocker, then what you can do to substitute is this thing called a VHT Special 6. Like I said, I never heard of this thing, but I was interested. I was curious, so I did a little bit of research. I went on the Kemper Rig Manager and the cloud there where there's like 14,000 different amps, and believe it or not, I actually found this VHT Special 6. Went on there by somebody named Greg, Greg, whoever you are, thank you, and downloaded it and gave it a try. And what I found was that not on all the albums that Alex used, it sounded really good, but on Moving Pictures, it really worked well. It has more of a darker sound, and believe it or not, it's a pretty small amp, as you can tell by looking at this image right here. So what I decided to do in my band is, for all the Moving Picture songs, that I was going to use this amp, and was able to tweak it, get it all set up, and found out that it makes a great sound. So for Limelight, which you saw in the opener, actually I had the Tube Screamer on. Now this is without the Tube Screamer. Has a little bit of a darker sound to it, but it came really close to that high watt sound that he had on that album. So I just added the Tube Screamer, and away I went. If there's a very specific type of sound you're looking for that kind of emulates that, the VHT Special 6 might be something to try out. Here's some of the songs, and I'll note that I'm going to be putting on some of the effects that I use for the Rush tribute band. Just be aware of that. For Limelight, I had the Drive on. Here's another song that might be really cool to have you check out. So there's just a few samples of the VHT Special 6. Give it a try if that's your sound of choice. Thanks a lot for watching another edition of Kemper Faves. Rock on!